Today, I will be introducing Sai Priyanti. So Sai Priyanti has known Swami her entire life. She was born into a family of Sai devotees and taken the Sai Center from a young age. And she's an alumni of the SSC curriculum, having attended SSC in India. And since moving here to Arizona, she's been an integral part of this center here. And I think I can speak for all of us when I say that her dedication and devotion to Swami is so amazing and admirable. And she says that Swami to her is Guru, God, and companion. And I, as well as all of you, are looking forward to hearing about her experiences and all that she has learned. So let us now give a very warm welcome to Sai Priyanti.
Invoking Swami's presence amongst us, I offer my loving pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Bhagavan. Respected elders, dear kids, brothers and sisters, Sai Ram to all of you. This day, and thank you Kavya for that kind introduction. This day of Aradhana Mahotsavam is a very unique day in all our lives. Nearly 8 years ago on this very Easter day, Swami decided to take away from us his beautiful physical form in order to teach us that he is just not that physical form, but an abundant energy that surrounds us all the time. We are all unique in our own ways and trying to relate to this Swami in our own different ways. I am very fortunate to be born in a family that had already accepted Swami as God. So ever since I knew my surroundings, I just knew that Swami is God. And as it would be in any Sai family, my parents also initiated me into Balvikas at a very young age. So I have been like all you kids going on a weekly SSC classes from the age of 4 or 5 till I completed the curriculum at the age of 15. Also during those years, my parents took me to most of the Sai Center activities around. So I should say that I grew up as a kid being regular at the Sai Center and also looking up to the then YAs to be my role models. As Balvika students, we would have the opportunity to have amazing darshans of Swami in close proximity whenever he came to Mumbai. During the 1980s, Swami would come to Bombay every year, and we all kids used to be taken to Satyadeep, which is Swami's residence in Dharmakshetra. For those of you who must have seen the lotus-shaped structure is Satyadeep in Dharmakshetra. We all would be seated at the lower level in the hall while Swami would come out of his room and come down the steps and come and meet us all there. He would come, talk to us, give us candies, joke around with us and shower all his love. But one thing that always made Swami unhappy was if we ever disrespected our parents. One such year when we were all gathered in Swami's presence in Satyadeep, Swami came and did everything as usual. He came, gave us candies, everything was normal. But that year, he did not give anybody Pada Namaskar. And we all noticed it, but decided to be calm and just follow the way it was going. He then gave the darshan, and then towards the end, he went to the back and picked up a boy. He brought him up front. He gave him all the possible attention. He gave him Pada Namaskar, he talked to him, he smiled at him, and we were all kind of curious that what is it with that one boy? And then he went on to tell all of us that the only reason he gave him Pada Namaskar that year was because that past year, that boy used to every night touch his parents' feet and take their blessings before going to bed. And Swami kept telling us that that one thing that he did was enough to just excuse him for any mistakes he could have done. He kept saying that if you want to make Swami happy, make your parents happy. So for all you kids seated here, I would say if there is one thing, you should respect your parents. While I was learning all these things at SSC every week, my family made sure that they followed similar values at home. And I think that is the most important part of growing up with SSE. To not just merely leave it to be a class learning experience, but to take it back home with us and follow it as a whole family. Can I ask all you kids here, how many of you all go home and talk to your parents about what you learned or did in SSE? Can you raise your hands, please? Okay, it's good. And maybe a question to us parents. How many of us ask our children what they did in SSE? Nice. So I think this has to be a mutual responsibility that we talk to them so that we all can touch base and go back to our basics and maybe follow what they are learning as a family in whole, as a whole family. It cannot happen that we tell them something and then we do our own thing. So that is, I think, the most important part of being an SSE kid and a parent. Bal Vikas has surely shaped me into what I am today. It is at SSE that I learned how to discriminate between the right and the wrong and to stay calm in situations, however rough it might seem. But one of the most important SSE learning for me over the years and has helped me tremendously throughout my life has been that with faith in Bhagwan and confidence in ourselves, we will always only come out as winners. The outcome might not surely be what we want all the time, but will surely be what is good for us. Swami designed the SSE to be a 9-year program, but I can tell you that the far-reaching effects of it will follow you throughout your life. You all, having gone through this curriculum, will surely stand apart in the society for the righteous choices you would make and for your character, and you will be recognized and appreciated for these. Swami's love for his Bal Vikas or SSE children is immense, and we all have heard about that. But I would like to share with you one instance when I was the one-on-one recipient of this message. So I was at a All India ex-Bal Vikas conference in 2004 in Parthi, and that past year Swami had a lot of hip problems. He had the fall, he had the hip surgery, and he used to seem to be in a lot of physical discomfort. And he had reduced the number of darshans he was giving and drastically reduced the number of discourses he was giving. So that year it was a 3-day conference, and at the end of the conference, Swami asked for all of us to be gathered at the Kulwant Hall in the afternoon. So this was an icing for us on that cake. So we knew that we are going to get the special darshan from Swami. So we were all seated. Swami came. He was on the wheelchair. He came. He gave us all darshan. We were all very happy and content with that trip, I should say. Then he went on to the dais and signaled for the mics to be brought. So now for us, this was like the sprinkles on the cake, because now we were going to hear that special message for us. It was just the Bal Vikas alumni gathered. Swami then, so the mic system was set up such that he could just sit and talk. But as soon as everything was set up, Swami held on to the table and pulled himself up and stood. He was kind of wobbling a little bit. And when we saw that, we all seated there could feel that pain and the physical discomfort. So we all just unanimously shouted, saying, "Swami, please sit down. Please sit and talk, Swami, sit down." Swami smiled and he just said that you are all my Bal Vikas children and have come to see me. When the children come back home to see their parents, does the mother just sit and watch them? However sick she is, will she not get up and do things for the children just with love? He said that you all have come and I cannot just sit and see you all. I am very happy. And he said Swami is not in pain and happy. He then went on to talk for 1 hour with 2 of his students sitting right behind him, holding his lower back and supporting him. I should tell you all that we are all immensely loved by Swami. We should be aware of this. And being an SSE student is surely a privilege. Swami has said that as a devotee, you all have the right to ask me for an experience. But before that, you all need to lay down a foundation of faith. And we are all trying to do that all the time. So for me, thankfully enough, that faith was laid down with the help of my parents and my SSE teachers. I would like to share with you all one experience we had when I was pretty young, but that helped me build my relationship with Swami. I was about 9-10 years old, and we had taken a summer vacation trip to Chennai, then Madras. It was my mother, father, my mama who lived with us, my mother's brother, my sister and me. So we all went to Chennai, and my parents had booked a one-way ticket. So to book the return tickets, my father and my cousin went to Kodambakam station. I'm just using names here for some people you might be familiar. So we lived in Nanganallur. They took the scooter to the Nanganallur station, parked it, took the train to Kodambakam, booked the tickets, came back home. That afternoon, my mother asked my father to show her the tickets. My father looked and searched but couldn't find them. He told my mother, and we all searched throughout the house, everywhere in the building. We couldn't find it anywhere. This worried my parents a lot, and they were really tensed for two reasons. One being that we were from a middle income family where for my parents, that second expense of buying a second set of tickets was huge. They were not ready for that expense. Second, being a summer vacation, the tickets get sold out very soon. So there was no guarantee that we would find tickets at the same time frame. My dad, my uncle, my sister all had to go back to their jobs. So it was a very, very tensed environment. It was pretty dramatic at home, I should tell you. We all searched, and my mother, through this all, was just praying to Swami to somehow help her find these tickets. My cousin then told my father that how about we go and search in maybe the Nanganallur station area. So that evening, late in the evening, they both went to the station, searched in the scooter parking garage, in the station, everywhere, couldn't find it. They came home back dejected. My father was very confident that he bought the tickets, put it in his shirt pocket and came back home. And I should mention to you all now that the ticket those days were the tiny small little car tickets of the size of 2 inch by 1 inch. This small, like the local train, Indian local train tickets. And there were 5 of them. So if they were dropped, they could have easily been kicked around, and there was no way, it was not easy to find those tickets if they were lost. So when my father and cousin came home back dejected, my mother was in tears. She didn't know what to do. She found herself completely helpless. And it was kind of hitting her that, okay, now it's becoming a reality that she might need to buy a second set of tickets, and it wasn't sure that they'll find it. So when you find yourself totally helpless, what do? It's just Sharanagati, you surrender. So at that time, my mother picked a picture of Swami and completely surrendered. And tears she said, Swami, you are God. You are the God, and we cannot find the tickets. You have to help us find these tickets. And she said, at least from trash, find me the tickets. Okay, in Tamil she said, Kuppailendad enakku thedi thango. This is what she said. And just before going to bed, my cousin told my father that next morning, let us just go to the Kodambakam station. I mean, nothing to lose. Let's go and search. So they went there early in the morning before 5, because typically after 6 people start lining up for the next day to buy tickets. So they went early in the morning, reached there, searched everywhere, and couldn't find anything. And that's when there was a man sitting there. He was an old man with torn clothes and a blanket around him, who looked like a homeless guy just living out of the station. Looking at these people, he called out and he said, Sami, enna pandra? He said, Sir, what are you doing? So just to avoid any conversation thinking he'll ask for money, they ignored him. After a few minutes, this man now loudly said, Sami, enna pandra? Kekrenla, sollu. So now it was forceful. It was like, Sir, what are you doing? I'm asking you, right? Tell me. So now, just to avoid any altercations, my cousin told him what happened. This man then went on to say, every night, the cleaning crew comes, brooms the whole ticketing area and pile the trash at some spot, and he pointed them towards it. He said, 6 a.m. in the morning, the trash truck comes and picks up everything. So you are right on time. You might be late, so rush, go quickly, just go and find them. My father and my cousin didn't give a second thought. They just quickly left, and surely they found a pile of trash with like dried leaves and paper and everything, and they looked through it, and my father found all the 5 tiny car tickets in that pile of trash. When he found the 5th ticket, that's when it kind of hit him hard that what my mother had prayed the previous night. So they literally rushed back to find that man and couldn't find that man anywhere in the station. So we got those 5 tickets back and we came back to Mumbai without having to pay any extra money. Since then, my mother used to always say that Swami is not God, just God. He is the Neril Nindru Kakkum Deivam, which means he is that God who will come manifest himself and help or protect you. So what happened here was when I was very young, but it was enough. It was enough for me to have an impact that when we surrender to Swami with faith, he does take care of a lot of things for us. Swami has, over the years, Swami has taken many different forms for me. When I was very young, he was that God that my parents introduced me to him as. Then when I was about 9, 10, around the second group of SSC, I started liking Swami's teachings and I made him my guru. So I wanted to read about his quotes. I wanted to read what's going on and what he's saying. How do you follow it? How hard it is to just pick one and follow it. So that's the phase I was in when I was like in the second, third group of SSC. Then when I was a teenager, I made him my friend. I used to tell him things, and for a long time he was a great friend, accompanying me for a lot of things. And surely enough, now he's a mother and the companionship continues. As a corollary to the above incidents, the Chennai incidents that I just said, I would like to share one more that happened recently in the last few years. So this was in the year 2008-9, and we used to meet at the old Mesa Center at the Maxwell Preschool. It was the Akhanda Bhajan time, and Guru and I typically love to go for bhajans, especially so when it is all these overnight long bhajans. And during those times, we all young adults used to plan to be at the bhajans through the night at the same time. So we would all come together, we would all bring a ton of instruments, we would play instruments, sing high energy bhajans, and it was like a fun event for us, just staying up the whole night. So that year, I was at Akhanda Bhajan the whole night, and in the pretext of drinking coffee, I started taking these breaks. But now, I took these breaks, went to the kitchen, met people, stood there talking to them for over an hour. And I didn't do this once, but did this multiple times. The Akhanda Bhajan passed, then came Shivaratri. And yet again, we were here at Bhajans overnight. And I did the same thing. I went out, took multiple breaks, over an hour each, drinking coffee, talking to people, and I was thoroughly enjoying all that. That year also passed, and came the following Akhanda Bhajan. But a week before the Akhanda Bhajan, I had a dream. Now, in my dream, I am in a bhajan setting that to me looks like Bombay, and I am standing outside with a cup of coffee, and I'm smiling and enjoying myself. Time passes. Swami walks into the bhajan hall. And I can sense that because now the bhajans are becoming high energy bhajans, people are singing loudly, clapping, but I'm still waiting outside. And now when I think about it, I feel, why didn't I just go in and sit down there? I should have just quietly gone and sat. But Swami's dreams are surely for some reason, for a message. So I'm standing outside, Swami finishes his darshan, and he then starts walking towards me. And when he starts walking towards me, I'm still standing there and smiling, and then I see his face becomes serious, and he walks briskly towards me. And now I know this Swami means business. I am in trouble. So he walks straight up to me and he tells me in Hindi, "Tum kya karta hai? What are you doing? Tumko lagta hai Swami nahi janta?" He says, "You think Swami does not know? Swami sab kuch janta hai." He says, "Swami knows everything. Tum idhar bhajan gaane aaya ki baat karne aaya?" He said, "Did you come here to sing bhajans or to talk?" He says, "Tum aisa karega to Swami tumse kabhi baat nahi karega. If you do this, I will never talk to you." By then, I am on my knees, folded hands, and I am apologizing. Then he again says, he puts his finger and he says, "Tum aisa karega, Swami tumse kabhi baat nahi karega." And that's when it kind of hits me hard, and that yearning within just becomes strong. So I tell him, "Swami, I'm sorry, Swami, I need you. I need you." And when I say that, he calms down. He starts smiling, and then he tells me to take Pada Namaskar, and he tells me, "Now go in and sing." I'll never forget how I went and sang Sadguru Brahma Sanatana with tears rolling over my cheeks and Swami sitting right in front of me, happily swaying himself. Since then, for me, Swami is one who is not just the Neril Nindru Kakkum Deivam, but he's the Neril Nindru Kekum Devam. So he's not only the one who protects me and helps me, but will question me and bring me back to track if needed. And I pray that this continues forever. Lessons are always taught by Swami all the time. It is up to us to follow them, isn't it? We all call ourselves Sai devotees, but it is up to us to follow Swami's teachings and become Sai students, isn't it? If we leave him at the altar, he will be very happy there and keep smiling at us when we choose to go there. But if we take him along with us everywhere, he will be a great divine companion, isn't it? Swami beautifully always said that he qualifies the called and does not call the qualified. So we are all here to be qualified. The Sai Center, I think, is an amazing place to help build this relationship with Swami and offer us with amazing opportunities to be happy and feel loved. And this is especially true for all you kids seated here. You don't need to stop yourself with SSC. You can participate in other center activities like bhajans or even seva. Once you finish your SSC, you can then go on to become a part of the amazing young adult group. In the young adult group, you can find new friends and make new friends with like-minded people. I should tell you that some of the beautiful memories we have made in Phoenix has been with the young adults. Earlier, before we had kids, we all young adults used to meet every Friday evening, and we would discuss topics that we would face in college or at work. We would cook together. We would eat together, have birthdays together, celebrate birthdays together, watch movies, and have so much fun. If you all grow up and go to college, and if it's out of state, if you're used to going to the center, I think that's the best place for you to feel at home in between unknown surroundings. A few of us seated here, including me, can vouch. We left our family, we left our home, we left our country, and came to a faraway place where we did not know a single person, and that's daunting. But when we chose to participate and become part of the center, we had this amazing, big, loving family that did so much for us. People go out of their ways to give us rides, cook food for us, take care of us when we are sick. What more can you ask for? So keeping a connection with the center is very important. Last year for Aradhana Mahotsavam, Swami students had a musical program put up, and in that, one of the songs they sang was the "In Every Moment of My Life, Please Be With Me." But they changed two lines in the second speed, which was a great assertion to this companionship. So in the first beat, it goes, "When I slip, when I fall, lend me your hand." In the second speed, they sang it as, "There's no slip, there's no fall, when we hold your hand." The first beat, "When I stray far away, bring me back again." The second speed, they sang, "We won't stray far away, with your hand in hand." So let us all hold on to this beautiful hand so we can have a great companion for life. I would like to end my talk with a prayer to Swami. Dear Swami, how fortunate we are that you have found us and we have found you. Please allow us to nourish and cherish this bond. Please will for us to be at your lotus feet all the time in this life and any more to come. Thank you, Sai Ram.